Well, hello then, I do hope you're all well. Well, in this video, we're going to head into the Cross-Party Select Committee for International Trade, and don't worry, it's going to be not another barrage of Anne-Marie Treveleyan and a cliquey pen. No. These guys have, you could say, brought in the sort of people Tory party believe that the nation have had enough of. Yes, experts. Now, I'm not going to tell you who they are, I will let them do it for themselves. And the first question is from the chairperson, if I remember rightly. His name is Angus Brendan McNeil. Sorry if I got your name wrong, do apologise. Where he basically asks what they think about this new world-beating trade deal with New Zealand. And to say it's very interesting is an understatement.
Order, and good morning. Welcome to the International Trade Committee's evidence session on UK trade negotiations agreement with New Zealand inquiry. We've got two panels this morning. Our first panel is a panel of four. We've got three here in person and one virtually. And I will ask the three in front of me and then the virtual participant to introduce themselves, names, rank and serial number, starting on my left.
Good morning, Chairman. My name is Miles Beale. I'm Chief Executive of the Wine and Spirit Trade Association.
Welcome, and good to see you again. Thank you.
Morning, it's Peter Dawson, the Policy and Sustainability Director of Dairy UK.
Thank you, and thanks for coming.
Yes, good morning. My name is David Swales. I'm the Head of Strategic Insight at AHDB. We're the levy board for agriculture based in the UK.
Thank you very much. And finally, virtually, we have got Phil Stocker. Phil, name, rank, and serial number.
Of course, yeah. Good morning, everyone. My name is Phil Stocker, and I'm the Chief Executive of the National Sheep Association, a membership organisation for sheep farmers in the UK. Thank you.
Sounds like one of the most important bodies I could think of.
Well, thank you for that, and I'm really sorry that I can't be with you in person this morning as well. Sorry about that.
That's fine. We'll think of the carbon footprint, and that's much better. Okay, just a general question to you all. What's just your brief assessment? What's your assessment briefly of the New Zealand Free Trade Agreement, starting with Miles?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I mean, generally speaking, we think it's a good agreement. We would certainly point to some sort of improvements in, I think, probably both the way the government went about it and the substance compared with Australia. So very similar outcome from our point of view. So removal from point of entry into force of tariffs on wines and spirits products going in both directions, which is unadulteratedly good news, good for trade. The difference with the Australia Free Trade Agreement this time is that there is a wine and spirits annex. From our perspective, that's a very good addition. We'd like to have seen it in the Australia Free Trade Agreement, particularly because it's supports kind of the avoidance of technical barriers to trade in the future as well as immediately.
The wines and spirit annex, that's an import-export.
Yes, I mean, and it's a lot to do with the sort of non-tariff elements around sort of labelling, things like that. So it's a way of making sure that there won't be future requirements for labelling, which would be sort of bureaucratic and unhelpful for the flow of trade. So yes, it's good.
A Brexit benefit.
Thank you. Peter Dawson.
Yes, thank you. We hold very much a contrary opinion. Our concern is primarily focused on essentially the economic and commercial implications arising from the agreement. New Zealand has a clear competitive advantage in dairy. That's well acknowledged by the government's impact assessment. And it opens up the UK market to potential unlimited New Zealand imports in a fairly short time frame. Now, at the moment, the New Zealand dairy industry is more focused in the Far East. They've got lucrative and growing markets over there, but there may be situations where they could decide as a matter of necessity they want to reorientate very rapidly into this market. And because of that competitive advantage that they have, they'll be able to obtain a market share up to any limit they decide is necessary for the interests of their industry. And in those situations, there's potential that UK product will be displaced, and unless we can find alternative markets abroad, the industry potentially could shrink. And in terms of the countervailing market opportunity made available to us for exports to New Zealand, well, it's a very small market, high transport costs, and the actual tariff reductions are actually quite marginal because New Zealand already had fairly low tariffs in the first instance. So overall, we would describe it as a blow to the UK dairy industry.
Thank you for that. I'll come back to you in a later question about food security around just what you've said. Can I turn to David Swales first, though, to get the opinion of all four to start with?
Yeah, I think the deal does create quite a lot of concern across the agricultural industry. Obviously, Peter's spoken specifically about dairy, but for other sectors as well, the deal does present quite a lot of challenges. So New Zealand is a tiny potential market for exports, so there's very little to be gained for our industry exporting to New Zealand. But they are a very low-cost producer and a major exporter globally. So there's potentially quite a lot of risk which comes with the deal in terms of potential impact to our domestic sector. So this is something at AHDB we do quite a lot of work to assess the impact of trade deals, and we're currently in the process of doing some work to model the impact of this deal, working with some colleagues at Harper Adams University. And I will be happy to share the details of that work once we have it, which will probably be next month. But just, hoping not to prejudge the findings of that too much, I think we will see a negative impact, both in terms of our domestic output and in terms of prices on the market for farmers in the UK.
Thank you very much.
You just need to believe more. Nibble and Ramona.
Much, David. Now, Phil Stocker, for farmers and crofters, humble or otherwise, that are into sheep, can you tell us what it's looking like in that area?
Thank you, Chairman. Well, I mean, in any free trade agreement, there's going to be winners and losers, and we would see ourselves in the sheep sector being one of the losers. We've often described ourselves as being the sacrificial lamb for potentially the benefit of many other sectors. It seems to us that the risks are all with us and the opportunities are all with New Zealand. The opportunities for us to export sheep meat and sheep meat products to New Zealand is tiny, absolutely tiny or remote. And we know that there's well-established trade routes for New Zealand lamb coming into the UK. So for us, this is not a welcome trade deal at all. I would also add that in a world where, in Britain, where there's a lot of work going into trying to recreate a food culture and food provenance, this risks homogenizing a protein traded on a global commodity world, and in a way it conflicts with another move within the farming and the food world here in Britain, which is about trying to localize and regionalize food supply chains and maybe focus on food sustainability and food security here in the UK. So for us, I would say that this is not a welcome deal. It offers us very little.
Thank you.
I want them answers very revealing, and quite clearly there's more losers than winners in this trade deal with New Zealand from our side, which, to be honest, is not surprising, because in the next video you will not be surprised to hear that this extreme Brexit Tory government are more interested in optics, you could say. It's more interested in what it looks like within the knuckle-dragging right-wing rags and their Brexit ultra fan base than if it will be a fantastic opportunity for our industries. And we all remember that statement from Patrick Minford, where he basically said for Brexit to work, you will have to kill off all, automation industry, agriculture, and the farming, would it, if I remember rightly? Conclusive proof, isn't it? I suppose he wasn't wrong, was it? Oh dear. But never mind. Just another day in this ridiculous government. But anyway, I shall leave the video here, and till the next time, I shall bid you farewell and take care.